Part 44. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 431. Thinking like this. Oreki-san then stepped forward. He noticed that when he got close to Ichino's, he could smell the faint fragrance of jasmine. In fact, it's not just Ichino's Hanami, but also Kushida-san. These two have been acting strange lately. I asked nervously what type of perfume he liked, and after he answered jasmine, both Kushida and Ichino's switched to perfume with this scent. Ichino's side is fine. Oreki-san knew from Sunshine Senpai Asahina that Hanami, an honest man, might still be complying with Nagamo Senpai's request. Attack him. But this is Fanbo's job. And Kushida-san. What you up to? This is also the reason why Oreki-san didn't take the initiative to deal with Kushida in the elevator. I always feel that she has become very dangerous recently. In this way, Oreki-san went to the classroom. Isn't this Oreki-san? Good morning. The silver-haired girl sitting next to him greeted him. Morning, Banliu-san, Oreki said. He sniffed it gently. Banliu classmate still did not use perfume, but her own milk fragrance. How reassuring. It's great that the most disturbing little Princess Sakayanagi didn't attack today. Chapter 180. Class B has lost its will to fight? Oreki-san arrived at the classroom, and Itayanagi-san was as cute as ever. She has fair skin and is wearing white stockings. Compared to Ichino's and Kushida, it's great that Sakayanagi-san didn't attack today. However, it is worth mentioning that after Yahiko Tatsuka dropped out of school, his desk was also taken away by workers. But that seat was empty, and the students in the back seat did not move their seats forward. It seemed that this way, people felt that they could constantly remind themselves that the school is not so gentle. And everyone knows this. Compared with myself, 20 million is definitely not worth 20 million. Dropping out of school is the best option for Tatsuka-san. So it's better to be honest with your representatives. At least, no one dares to disobey orders. Otherwise, the next person to be sacrificed will probably be himself. So the ordinary students in class A were a little nervous. So the only ones who can be so relaxed are Oreki-san and Sakayanagi. But today is February 1st. Something important will happen this month. That is that third-year student council president Horikita Manabu will resign at the end of the month. On the last day of this month, the election of the new student council president will be held. Certainly. In addition to this, there are the usual things on the first of every month. At 7 o'clock, all students' mobile phones received friendly transfers for living expenses from the school. Oreki-san also received several other additional incomes. From Horikita's brother's debt to class A of the third grade, and then to Horikita Suzan's fixed points corresponding to the class evaluation score of 270 points obtained from class D every month. In the past, she would only call during the lunch break, but now it is so early. It seems that the vote in the class to drop out of the exam has brought her a wave of popularity. So the students must also be convinced of her. Of course, this also contributed to Hirata's collapse and imbalance, which was why Horikita-san was able to win the championship. Then, this is what his student ID card looks like. Name, Houtarou Oreki. Student ID, 100-861-0010. Class, Grade A, First Grade. Private account, 135.323500 points. You still have so many points. The silver-haired girl sitting next to him paid attention and said. Her family is well off and she has never experienced hunger. And it's quite a famous family. My father also has the important responsibility of serving as the chairman of Yuchin High School. But she had never seen such a large amount of money at once. Oreki. Right. Oreki-san is currently the person who has received the most personal points among the students and even the faculty in the school. Even if you are about to be dropped out of school, you can offset it 5 times. Of course, he couldn't be kicked out of school. It's just that he doesn't have much need for points now. School points can be redeemed for cash. However, after acquiring the ability of psychic divination last time, I immediately thought of the most direct solution to realize it. Psychic divination can obtain past experiences of items by touching them. Then scratch off is also feasible. When the scratch off lottery tickets are made, they will be processed by workers, and there will definitely be workers leaving thoughts like, I wonder who will get this lottery ticket worth XX million. So you can start here. The scratch-off lottery prizes generally range from several million to 10 million, but in the newly launched Pacific Lottery in December last year, the first place prize is as high as 30 million, and 11 first-place winners are allowed. The second prize is 10 million, allowing 100 people to win the second prize, and then the third prize is 4 million, allowing 500 people to win. Then, the students in the school may not know it, but to the outside world, the Pacific Lottery has stopped selling directly. Because, in more than 2 months, the first, second and even third places were all wiped out. Why buy this? Being taken advantage of? Lottery players then refused. Although the ability to cheat is excessive, it also brings an income to Oreki-san, which is enough to support the life of lawyer Horikita in the future and even more. It can even cover the expenses for Sake Inagi-san to drop out of school. So, he wasn't that interested in the dazzling points now, and he didn't go to the school to exchange them for cash in advance because he had so many points. By the way, using scratch tickets to make money, he tricked Ichino's sister into buying lottery tickets. I deliberately missed a few lottery tickets, but I will soon win a scratch-off ticket worth 30 million and a third-place scratch-off ticket worth 4 million to fool my opponent into choosing. Ichino's character is not bad. Even if she knew her dark history, Oreki-san would not hate her. After all, if it is too perfect, it will not be human, but if it is slightly flawed, it will make people feel more touchable. Because humans are such creatures that cannot be absolutely perfect. Otherwise, she would always be so far away, instead of being at a distance where he could reach out and grab her. And even if we don't have a special relationship with him in the future and are just friends, he is still willing to help. In this way, Oreki still hopes to give Ichino's a surprise so that she can get rid of her family's poverty and worry about the financial pressure of her mother and sister, and then she can spend 3 years in this school freely. After all, even though she chose to stay in this college and work hard with her classmates, she was destined to always be in Class B or possibly drop to Class C. It's impossible to rush into Class A. Although it is cruel, it is the truth. The students of Class B, who were given very cruel orders, noticed that their homeroom teacher, Hashinomi Yachie, came to the classroom. Hashinomi Yatomo, who had thickened her coat because of the weather, walked in. Teacher Hashinomi Ya is a little different today because she, who always wears ordinary workplace suits, actually wears stockings. Gives people a fresh feeling. Of course, the good kids in Class B won't pay attention to this. They just felt the pressure. Some time has passed since the class voted to withdraw from the exam, and no students in Class B have withdrawn. But when passing by other classes, you will find that their class is really missing a desk. In other words, today is the first, so teacher Hashinomi Ya will also bring the rules for this month's special exam. Then the next exam, will it be Alexander again? You must know that their class has no points to resist risks. And Hashinomi Ya glanced at the students and said, first of all, the special examination will be announced on the first. This is customary. I think you should also know. But according to past experience, the last exam for first-year students is a smooth 50-point written exam. So, you can treat this special exam as a final exam and deal with it carefully. Apparently, the school system did not stop functioning because of Principal Tsukijo's hospitalization. As a special exam at the end of the semester, you will be asked to demonstrate the comprehensive results of what you have learned so far, including intelligence, physical strength, teamwork, and perhaps luck. In short, you need to realize the various potentials you have. Although Hashinomiya spoke in official language, she quickly wrote the current evaluation scores of each class on the blackboard. Class A, first grade, scored 2,628.5 points. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 432. First grade Class B 1,451.5 points. Grade 1 Class C, 598 points. Class D, first grade, 582 points. What a brutal score. Class A has reached a desperate score, and Class B. I also brought students from Class B in the last class. Hashinomiya encouraged the students. But you are much better than the last class. At least at this time in the last term, my class couldn't do as completely as you did. Then, the class evaluation score did not exceed 1,000 points. Is that so? It looks like this. But both Ichino's and Kanzaki felt a little ashamed. Because they know very well that the current points of Class B are only good looking, because they still need to pay 400,000 points to Class D every month. So the current points value is actually similar to buying points. Not glorious. As for Long Yuan, 3 million has not yet been returned. So Class B is actually in a pretty bad state right now. At least, we won't be able to collect 20 million in a short time to offset the crisis of someone dropping out of school again. And this special examination will give you the greatest freedom. It is a selection test in which each class competes with each other based on their comprehensive ability, so it is also called the top showdown. According to the rules, the battle class will be decided and then the exam will be conducted, Hashinomiya said. And here, you may face Class A directly. Kanzaki. Ichino's. Although as Class B's target is Class A, sooner or later it will end up in Class A. However, neither Kanzaki nor Ichino's wanted to face Class A so early and directly. Because there are monsters in Class A. And Oreki-san can even control Class C, and in Class D, we also have the right to speak. He was also able to get 120 votes for Ayanokaji from Class D in the last additional class voting withdrawal exam, which means that all three classes in ABC supported him. So not only Kanzaki, but Ichino's also understands that if you want to reach Class A, you have to defeat the three classes of ACD. And is this possible? It's very difficult to do. In other words, there seems to be no way to climb up for Class B, Grade 1. The Star Palace also discovered this state. My class seems to have lost confidence and determination to move up. As a teacher, Hashinomiya could only continue to perform his duties, and then gave some encouragement. Except for venue and space requirements, there is no limit to the content of the exam. It can be anything from a written test, shogi, poker, baseball, etc., to even drawing ghost cards. It completely uses your brain and wisdom. Choose 10 from various projects and submit them to me. These 10 items will be disclosed to the enemy class. On the day of the exam, you will choose 5 of the 10 items to confirm, and then the other class will do the same. Then the system will immediately draw 7 out of a total of 10, 5 add 5, projects prepared by both classes for the competition. 7 rounds of battle. The first class to win 4 games will receive 100 class evaluation points provided by the school. Not only that, every time you defeat the opponent's class in a game, you will get 30 class evaluation points from the opponent. The exam adopts the principle that no matter what the game situation is, even if it is 0 to 7, 7 games must be completed. In other words, this time the school almost forced every class to put their wisdom and faith on the line. Otherwise, A negative response will widen the gap of 30x7x to add 100 points equal 520 points. No wonder teacher Hashinomi Yachie told everyone that this special exam can be regarded as a final exam. Because if you want to make it, the score can be greatly increased. Of course, this is based on winning all 7 games. And obviously, this cannot be done. So the students just got excited for a while and then kept quiet. Then the Star Palace distributed the printing papers brought over one by one, with more detailed rules on them. And in my own class. During the class meeting, teacher Mashima also informed similar exam rules. Oreki also got information from the table in front. Read it quickly. 1. In terms of the number of participants, there is a minimum of 1 participant in each game and a maximum of 20 participants. Each class can only apply for a maximum of 2 projects with more than 10 students per session. 2. Each student can only attend 1 event. 3. There are no restrictions on projects, but one thing to note is that each class cannot apply for the same project. Or extremely similar. 4. Each class needs to select a commander. This commander cannot directly participate in the project competition, but can provide guidance to corresponding participating students through corresponding equipment. The specific situation will be explained in a unified manner for the commander. If you win the class duel, the commander will receive a certain amount of personal points as a reward. If you fail, you will be expelled from school. At the same time, the command tower will participate in the duel and draw lots at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to select the class to fight. That is to say, this competition is another exam that forces students to drop out of school. Not to mention how awesome you can be if you win. Once you lose, the student who serves as the commander will be expelled from school. Not only that, if you just randomly pick a classmate to be the commander, then he/she will not be able to participate in each game and give suggestions and advice. Command. And if the top person in his class serves as the command tower, then if the class duel fails, the top person will be expelled from school. This is very scary. Either choose to collect 20 million points to offset the penalty of dropping out of school. Either that. Let students who received withdrawal protection in the previous exam take the exam. Let the other party assume the responsibility of the command tower. Principal Tsukijo was still hospitalized, but judging from the current situation, Oreki was right. The last time the class voted to drop out of the exam, it was just Yu Cheng who came to say hello. Therefore, after the class votes to withdraw from the exam, there will be an exit exam that will take protection away. In other words, Tsukijo is prepared to use this method to add students if Ayanokaji fails to drop out of school at once, because the exam for the top decisive battle should be drawn up by Tsukijo. Maybe Yu Cheng is not as idiot as he seems. And maybe it's quite funny. Chapter 181 Sakayanagi is very angry. Oreki-san, what did you do? Moon City is very funny. Because Ayanokaji could be dropped out of school if the class voted to drop out of school, but this was basically impossible. After all, the other party was Baifang's masterpiece, so he couldn't drop out of school so easily, so he knew it, so he just came to say hello. But I have definitely prepared that Ayanokaji will choose to protect himself, win votes of appreciation from outsiders, and then obtain protection. Then we also planned the command tower exam and added the rules for dropping out of the command tower. This can be regarded as a patch for the 4 protections caused by the previous additional exam. However, there are other effects in practice, because becoming a commander will result in expulsion if you fail in the class duel, so the risk is very high. As for Class D, the command tower naturally only allows Ayanokaji who has received protection. After all, who would think that the students of Class D can defeat other classes, so Ayanokaji will be passively accepted by everyone and become the commander. But Ayanokaji is the only winner in Baifang after all, so what if Ayanokaji wins the next exam? It seemed like he was giving Ayanokaji more leverage. But Excuse me. What did Ayanokaji do in this school for about a year? Maintain a low sense of presence. In other words, it's not conspicuous. And whether it is to obtain protection or to become a commander, Ayanokaji-san has lost the comfortable life with low sense of presence in the past. Will be highly watched. Therefore, Tsukijo was prepared to be disgusted with Ayanokaji even if he couldn't drop out of school. And he did not consider depriving Ayanokaji of his protection, which shows that Mr. Tsukijo did not think about using a legitimate examination to drop out of Ayanokaji, but was preparing to break the rules. From this perspective, Mr. Tsukijo is indeed a troublesome person. But each class requires a commander, and if the class he leads fails the exam, he will be expelled. This is a fact that every class needs to face. And class A is here. So, this month's special exam is, to be precise, similar to last month's supplementary exam. Because if the class confrontation fails, in addition to the class being deprived of class evaluation points, the commander will be punished by being expelled from school. Teacher Mashima announced the rules. While Oreki-san was listening, he seemed to be distracted and looked at the female classmate sitting next to him. For the first time in class, Oreki-san was distracted and focused on Sakayanagi Yuzu. Banliu. Although it feels good to have Oreki-san's attention. But now she doesn't want the other party to look over. Because this means that she can only become the commander tower. In other words, she can only be responsible for this exam. And where there is one there are two. As soon as I take over, I'm afraid Oreki-san will also say in the next exam, "Didn't you do a good job?" Then he shied away all responsibility. Although there is Katsuragi-san in the class who can take the leading role, Katsuragi-san is a good person, has a good character, and his thinking ability is not bad, but Ryuan from class C can fool him. Therefore, Katsuragi-san cannot lead the class to stay in class A for 3 years. Therefore, she always thought it was just her or Oreki-san. But you are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 433. There is no doubt that Oreki-san is giving up his burden. This is not a good thing. Because as long as this man has nothing to do, he will have a lot of luck. But now, except for Oreki-san, the entire class was staring at her with this look. Sakayanagi Yuzu was fooled to stand up and said that she would be the first in the appreciation vote and flexibly use the protection reward, which has now become a shackles that she has to work. In this way, she had to stand up. It seems that this exam is the time for me to fulfill my promise that won everyone's vote of appreciation last time. Then, I hope everyone can cooperate with me in this exam. I will be the command tower. As the conductor of this exam, she said against her will. Then, during lunch break, in the cafeteria, it was crowded. And in the corner of the dining table. Why do you take the initiative to look for me to eat? And a girl with long blue hair and a wide forehead seemed to be unresponsive. This is Hospi Haruka from Class D. Before she knew it, Oreki-san invited her to have lunch together. I can feel the curious eyes of the students passing by. Any questions? Oreki-san looked at her strangely. I invited Sakura-san, and as her friend, is it strange that you are here? Oreki said. Borugia. That's it? Boruga was very interested in gossip, and was suddenly invited by a rich boy in the school who was also the school idol. She thought that bad luck would come to her. And that's not a good thing for her. She still has a certain degree of confidence in her appearance. And there is also a weapon, probably a figure that she doesn't like, but boys like it very much. At the same time, although she is a student of Class D, she is also the informant of Houtarou Oreki of Class A in Class D. But now, if the love fortune really comes suddenly, she will choose to refuse it. After all, as an informant, and during the last class vote to drop out, she entered the small group created by Oreki-san specifically to protect them. And she intuitively felt that there might be something wrong with the relationship between Oreki-san, Sato-san, and Kuruzawa. Especially Sato-san. Because I confessed my love in public before and cried afterwards. It looked pitiful, but girls are not people who can control their emotions that much. How could you still have a normal chat with the person who confessed to you and was rejected? Therefore, after the initial confession, there must be some follow-up that she didn't know about. To be precise, maybe something happened. This is a really private relationship. And Kuruzawa-san is very different among them. Although Kuruzawa-san can do things as the leader of the hot girls and has a certain say in Class D, it is very convenient in terms of control and operation. But Kuruzawa-san doesn't seem to be the type to bow down easily. And this one is tentatively known, and then there are Itayanaga-san from Class A, Ichino-san from Class B, and Horikita-san from their own class. She has also heard discussions with other classmates, and Kushida-san occasionally goes there. Oreki-san's room. This isn't quite right. So, to sum up the above. Although Oreki-san is rich, academically excellent, and athletic, he cannot be a playboy. What she wants is probably the kind of love that makes her tempted, but is relatively pure. Result. I invited Sakura-san, and as her friend, is it strange that you are here, Oreki said. In other words, Oreki-san didn't invite her. That's right, Sakura-san. Oreki-san looked at Sakura-san who was coming over with a stack of desserts. I'm actually quite happy. Thank you, Oreki-san, for letting me take photos. So for this meal, please let me treat you. Eri quickly sat down obediently and said. In fact, she didn't know why Oreki-san took the initiative to invite her to have dinner with her, but Oreki-san was her important model. She was still very happy. Then, she held her left hand on her chest, seemingly nervous. Then he seemed to ask cautiously, "Can you let me take pictures in the future?" Oreki. He received the gazes of the surrounding students. When he and Bolyagia sat down at a table, some people they knew would pay attention to them. However, after Sakura-san expressed this, those concerned eyes immediately looked away. That is to say. That's right. Kushida. You told Sakura about the photo he took, and maybe even shared the photo as a social interaction. So seeing that it was Sakura-san who was in contact with him, everyone felt at ease and even looked forward to it. He still can't understand why someone likes other people's photos. Don't he have a sexy photo of himself? But for today, I'll forgive Kushida. Because the reason why Oreki-san chose to eat with Sakura-san was not for other reasons. When she was in class, Itayanaga-san took over the task of this exam against her will, so Oreki-san was embarrassed to continue eating with her. After all, this is equivalent to leaving all the work to her. And all future work will be passed on to her. So if you stay with her during lunch break, she might go crazy. I always feel like the girl with purple hair and the hairpin is staring at me, Hospi said at this time. That's not the girl with purple hair, that's Kamuro Maesumi-san in my class, Oreki-san added. In fact, he knew that Hospi knew about Kamuro-san, and he must be asking what gossip happened. Because don't you usually eat with a silver-haired girl with handicapped legs? So what happened? Is there a relationship crisis? Oreki-san rejected Hospi's curiosity. However, Kamuro-san is paying attention here, which means that Sakayanaga-san is also watching here. Although I think I should put her aside for a while and let her calm down first. But she was clearly not satisfied. In this case, you still need to take action. After all, it can be known from the precognitive dream that Banliu is a very brave person. And today, she was indeed treated as a tool. She's definitely unhappy. It wouldn't be good if it provoked a new attack from her. He arranged for Kushida to visit pharmacies again in the past few days, but he still couldn't buy family planning supplies. So many things are not safe. Then Oreki-san took out his cell phone. And the other side. In the old place of the cafeteria, as usual, the obedient students of class A occupied their seats, and after Sakayanagi and Kamuro arrived, they left. But today was different from usual. Although Sakayanagi Yuzu maintained his usual etiquette. And in the morning, after she made the decision to be the person in charge of this special exam in the class, she gained everyone's respect. Rather, she will be the conductor of this special examination. It is also equivalent to taking over the burden of exams. Everyone only needs to be responsible for outputting according to the arrangement. She is the one who really needs to make decisions. Although she maintained a spring-like smile, girls who knew her long purple hair already understood. Sakayanagi Yuzu was angry. I always feel like you are angry. Is it because Oreki-san didn't come over to have dinner with you today, and Kamuro is obviously not the kind of person who likes to talk based on the atmosphere? Rather, she has been enslaved by Sakayanagi, so she finally felt, well, she found an opportunity to bully Sakayanagi. When I just came over with the food, I saw Oreki-san eating with others, Kamuro said. That's really annoying. Kamuro Maesumi-san. Princess Itaiji kept a decent smile. I'm not the kind of person who takes men so seriously. A certain amount of relaxation is also quite useful. Otherwise, it would be easy to be disliked, Banliu said. The divine room. No. When you call her by her full name, it means you are not in a good mood. Because you usually call her Kamuro-san. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 434. Well, I just saw Oreki and Sakura Eri eating together, Kamuro-san said. Really, Sakayanagi Yuzu said, it's just a contact between the artist and the model. It's not a dirty art like painting that requires touching the model. Oh, in addition to Sakura Eri, I also saw a super tall girl with blue hair and a beauty mark on the right corner of her face at the same table, Kamuro continued. That's just Oreki-san's dog in Class D. Princess Sakayanagi was still polite. Also, Maesumi Kamuro, you should also have information about the students in Class D. It's actually Hospi Haruka, don't you even know? Or Sakayanagi-san looked over with a rather cute expression. You're trying to tease me. Although Sakayanagi is very cute, it is still very stressful to be questioned like this. But oh, really? Kamuro-san picked up the phone. As if she had received a text message, she quickly checked the message. Then he said. But now Oreki-san is looking for Horikita Suzune. It's just Horikita Suzune. Sakayanagi-san was quite calm and continued to maintain his elegance. The student council president will resign this month. He should really contact Horikita Suzune. After all, she is the sister of the student council president. She can get the third-year Class A and many. You also know that the student council president has great authority, and the current student council president is very fair, but if the next student council president arbitrarily adjusts the scores for each special exam, will our classes still be stable? So, Oreki-san is just doing business, Sakayanagi said. Profound. Kamuro-san nodded as if he understood. But so you are quite dissatisfied now? And apparently Oreki-san and Horikita Suzune dated before. This is obviously not taking advantage of the other party. It's not a business matter. So, is there something you don't want to admit, or are you forcing yourself to forget something? However, Kamuro-kun seemed to be turning his phone over so that Sakayanagi could see the page. Actually, I didn't receive any news just now that Oreki was looking for Horikita Suzune. It was just a piece of information from Hashimoto-san, Kamuro said. Is it? Sakayanagi was very sure that the dog was not good at all today. Need to tune a little more. Did he? But at this time, her phone vibrated. A message was received. Chapter 182 Don't fight, oh no, you can fight? Come on. Sakayanagi-san received a message. Kamuro-san was paying attention to Itayanaga, but Itayanaga kept his sweet smile, apparently not being attracted to his attention. Don't you want to confirm the information? Kamuro said. Although the message I just received is from Hashimoto, he said that Oreki is going to arrange for him to do some work. So, since you are borrowing someone from our side, maybe Oreki-san will contact you quickly, Kamuro said. In other words, he probably wanted Sakayanagi to confirm the information. Although I felt a little relieved after playing with Sakayanagi, I suddenly realized that the consequences were a bit serious. Because Sakayanaga's expression at the moment was not one that could easily laugh off the teasing she just had. In other words, Kamuro-san is actually a bit timid now. Because someone like Sakayanagi would definitely ask her to memorize a vocabulary book tonight. Although her grades are no longer her biggest worry, she doesn't like studying. Don't try to muddle through, but Yuzu Sakayanagi showed no mercy. Kamuro Maesumi-kun, I am very disappointed in you today. Eju. Carrot. I'm sorry, I'll give you a study session. After all, although your academic ability is good, there is still value that can be improved, and I have some experience in reciting. I think you will soon like to recite. Wow. So, he really wanted to bully her. And he really bluntly wanted to take revenge on her. Even though they had been together for almost a year, Kamuro still felt that Sakayanagi was a rather excessive guy. And when Kamuro-san was thinking this, beep, Banliu received another message. But this time, Banliu lowered his head to look at his phone. All mobile phones in the school are uniform, but students can choose whether to buy a cute mobile phone case, a normal film or a frosted phone case, etc. Certainly. It is also possible to give special reminders to the recipients of messages. And this special prompt sound obviously belongs to a specific person. You're lucky, Sakayanagi said. Tonight's study meeting is cancelled. Is that so? But Kamuro clearly noticed that the message received on Sakayanaga's mobile phone was, do you have time after school, by chance? How about going to the shopping district for dinner together by Oreki Houtarou? Is it? The original plan for the evening was to bully her, but as soon as Oreki-san invited her, she decided to spend this time with Oreki-san. It's so real, Sakayanagi. And the other side. Oreki-san put down his phone. Is this all you need to do? Oreki-san, Haruka, and the others were sitting in a booth for 4 people. Haruka sat opposite Oreki. It stands to reason that you can't see who he is using his mobile phone to send messages to. But Oreki knew that this was when the other party started gossiping. But this gossip is pretty much the same. Sakayanagi-san is not my girlfriend, Oreki-san explained after thinking about it. Oh. But it should be soon, Oreki-san murmured. The so-called speaker has no intention, but the listener has intention. Haruka opened her eyes wide in surprise. Hello. Could this be said to be super big news? Because she was still guessing that in Orimura's group for the previous dropout exam, apart from her, Eri, Sato-san, and Kuruzawa-san. Then I thought about Horikita-san or Kushida-san. Oh, Kushida-san doesn't seem like the kind of person who would get caught up in the topic of love. But Ichino-san from Class B seems to be talking about Oreki-san recently. Therefore, Haruka is still curious about who Oreki-san's true love is. Result. Oreki-san's true love is Sakayanagi-san. What happened? And Sakura-san just went to serve food again. She was originally invited by Oreki-san, but as an photography enthusiast, she still hopes to continue to cooperate with Oreki-san. In fact, she is very timid. I also worked as a model in the past, but there were female videographers. Now in this school, although you can take selfies, you have to live in a closed space for 3 years. So it is easy to be recognized. Therefore, I don't dare to show my photos at all. But taking pictures of Oreki-san is different. Many people wanted his picture. It made her feel affirmed as a photographer. So Sakura-san is actually very interested. It's just that her ability to detect the atmosphere is also very strong, and she noticed Haruga's state. "No, it's nothing," Bolyagia said quickly. "Could it be that I just accidentally found out about Oreki-san's crush and his declaration that he wants to date her? You know, Oreki-san is quite eye-catching in this school, and there are many people staring at him. Especially some senior students. Probably because he was lagging behind in class rankings, and then he didn't want to work hard and wanted to get in touch with younger students. It turns out that Oreki-san is the type of person who is easily taken advantage of." Speaking of it, Bolyagia quickly changed the subject. "Today's performance by Hirata-kun is really strange." Oreki-san looked over. "Hirata-san, he is still in the same state as when Yamauchi dropped out of school," Haruka said. "Some time has passed since Horikita-san attacked Hirata and Hirata exploded." As for the specific scene of the outbreak in Hirata, Haruka had already reported it to Oreki. But Haruka didn't know that much. For example, before the additional class vote to drop out of the exam, Hirata Yasuke became the dog of the Itanyanaga faction. After getting the chess piece, Itayaru seemed to want to give it to him, but he thought about it and gave it to Ayanokaji as a favor. After all, Oreki has a transactional relationship with Ayanokaji. Therefore, it is okay to help prevent the other party from being expelled, but he does not want to participate in everything and assist. That's not energy efficient. So he sent an auxiliary tool person to Ayanokaji. And this person is Hirata Yasuke. The school divides students into classes according to a set of standards. If the class they are assigned to is closer to Class A, it means that the initial evaluation was very high. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 435. Yasuke Hirata is excellent in all aspects, but he was placed in Class D. Therefore, Oreki-san has long understood that he exploded. After all, there is another Kushida-san who is similar to Hirata and is also in Class D. Kushida's performance is excellent in all aspects, but the dark history will lower her evaluation. Therefore, Hirata may have as much dark history as Kushida. Judging from some past information, Hirata is the snake oil and adhesive of Class D. Together with Kushida, she works as a nanny for her classmates. An existence similar to Yasuke's mother. And when he found that joining the club was inconsistent with helping his classmates, he directly chose to quit the club, which shows that he is more inclined to maintain the relationship with the classmates in the class. Therefore, if someone really drops out of school, he will definitely collapse. Then, it's Ayanokaji's matter. Oreki-san has done his best. According to Haruga, their class also announced a special exam in the morning. A command tower is required, and then the whole class participates. Then very Class D. Obviously tomorrow at 10 o'clock there will be an examination process for the command tower to draw lots to choose the class to fight against. As a result, there is no candidate for the command tower in Class D yet. Some people think that Horikita-san can do it, and some think that Kushida-san can do it too, but some people say that Ayanokaji can be chosen because if he loses, he will drop out of the commander tower. So much. There seems to be a lot of opinions. So, we finally decided to stay after school today to discuss it further. The big reason is probably because of Hirata's lack of cooperation. When Mr. Chibashira announced that free discussion was allowed, Hirata left the classroom alone. Without Hirata as the glue, the students in the class began to fall apart. It's not just that, Baruga continued. Hirata is in a very bad state now. When he was about to leave the classroom, Xiaomei wanted to persuade him. In other words, over the past week, some of us have tried to persuade him, but Hirata has treated us coldly and in a very bad state. So in the past 2 days, everyone has actually started to pretend not to see him. Only Xiaomei is still working hard. The beauty here is Wang Miu, Kushida-san's best friend, who is very good at English. Although Oreki needs Kushida's experience, Kushida will also dump garbage on him regularly. One of them is that her best friend Wang Miu likes Hirata. So, now when most students choose to give up, she might as well not give up. In other words, love is such a persistent thing. Then, during lunch break in the morning, Kushida-san was also criticized by Hirata. Haruka continued. Oreki-san looked over curiously. After Hirata's collapse, he becomes a weapon when he is redeemed. So he wasn't surprised that Ayanokaji hadn't taken action yet. It was better to say that Ayanokaji was a little darker than he thought. He probably wanted to make Hirata completely despair and then pull him up. Yes. Hirata has not fallen into despair yet. Although he is broken now, he is still in school, right? This is the same as Long Yuan. It means you don't want to leave yet. But Oreki was not interested in Ayanokaji's process of conquering Hirata. But what happened when Kushida was criticized by Hirata? Then, after thinking about it, Oreki-san took advantage of the fact that there was still some time during lunch break and asked Kushida Kikyo out. The meeting place is still the same place. But unlike before, where there were originally 3 people, now only 2 came. So, Oreki-san asks me out this time. Do you have any plans? Kushida-san looked quite cute. I don't plan to make money this time, Oreki-san said. It would be better to say that I have more points now and have no need for funds for the time being. Oh. However, Kushida-san's cute expression turned dark instantly. You don't look right. Your stress threshold seems to have dropped. So, what happened? Oreki asked. You're not in a good mood today, aren't you? Kushida looked at him in surprise. Because didn't this man only have eyes for Horikita Suzune, and he had never seen her like Kushida Kikyo? However, he was probably in a bad mood. So Kushida spoke up. During lunch break, her friend Wang Miu still wants to save Hirata. From Wang Miu's point of view, everyone seems to have given up on Hirata, but she feels that deep down in her heart, Hirata must be waiting for someone to save him. From this perspective, girls in love are indeed terrifying. Very sharp. With this thought in mind, Oreki-san glanced at Kushida. Kushida looked at him in confusion. Never mind. It's almost unimaginable that Kushida would be in a state of love. Because she is very good at acting. So Oreki-san continued to listen to the story. It was after the morning class. Then, can I watch you from a distance? Wang Miu once again hopes to talk to Hirata. If he has any complaints, she is willing to listen. So come over and invite each other to dinner. No, however, Hirata had already seen through Wang Miu's thoughts. I won't have lunch with you. Besides, I don't like you. Can you please stop disturbing me? And this is very straight. Directly point out in the class who likes him. This is a pretty hurtful move. In the past, Hirata would not have said such words, and would have considered the other party's situation. In other words, Hirata is indeed in bad shape now. And Oreki-san already understood. Probably because he found out that his friend was said like this in public by Hirata. Then Kushida, as Wang Miu's best friend, had no choice but to come forward. It needs to be maintained. Then comes Hirata-san, your attitude is too strange. Don't you think your attitude is different from usual? Kushida-san said. Huh? It's different. This is my true face. However, Hirata Yasuke is really completely autistic. And don't talk to me. Everyone has their true colors, right? Or you want me to expose it? So don't mess with me. Day. Then. This is why Kushida-san is in a bad mood. Because. This time it wasn't just Wang Miu, but she was also said that in the class. Certainly. Since she still got the third highest appreciation vote in the exit test, and Hirata-san has been broken for a while, everyone will not care about the content of what Hirata said, and will only think that Hirata-san is really hopeless. But for Kushida, the mood was terrible. For example, she was wondering if her true identity had been leaked. Hirata seemed to know that her heart was dark. Of course, this may be because Hirata-san is making assumptions about others based on his own situation. The side he shows to everyone is very good, and Kushida is doing a similar job to him, but he knows what a terrible person he is, so he also I think Kushida is like this. And Kushida is not in a high mood, so let's make her mood better. Then Oreki-san said. For this special exam, although I don't want to make money, maybe you will feel better. I told you before that I hope Horikita can grow in this exam. And in this exam, I don't want you to be the one to assist Horikita. So, you can make things difficult for her. Profound. What kind of play is this, or is it a trap? Kushida-san instantly became alert, like a kitten that accidentally wandered into a devil's yard. Chapter 183 Horikita Suzun's Experiment. Kushida was not worried for nothing. She has been fooled several times, and she also knows very well that Oreki-san is partial to Horikita Suzun, and is even ready to marry Horikita Suzun in the future. So, now he actually said that he wants her to cause trouble for Horikita Suzun. Is this just fishing for law enforcement? So she is now looking at Oreki-san with a wary look. Although I still don't like Horikita Suzun, she is considered my friend, and I treat friends equally, Kushida said. Are you sure? Oreki looked at her. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you give her the opportunity to cause trouble, I won't pursue it. Kushida. Now Oreki's attitude made her start to waver. True. She definitely doesn't like Horikita, but she feels uncomfortable having to assist him in his work, so if she can cause trouble, she will indeed feel better. Then, you swear, Kushida said, you won't go back and grab my pigtails or anything like that. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 436. Okay, just to test it out, it turns out you really want to cause trouble, Oreki said. I'm very disappointed in you, Kushida-san. Eh? You liar. Kushida Black Angel almost exploded. No, I'm kidding. Oreki-san quickly stroked her hair to comfort her. Actually, it's okay for you to cause trouble for her. After all, I hope she can grow up. If everything goes smoothly, how will she grow up? So that's it? So, in the end, it was all about training Horikita Suzun. Kushida-san felt that her mood had not improved at all. The lunch break passed quickly. The afternoon course of class is a continuous English class. Because it is not very difficult, after you concentrate your attention and relax again, it will be time for school in the afternoon. The classroom teacher has left, and the students in class also have their own jobs or lives. Some need to go to clubs, and some also have tasks. It seems that Hashimoto-san has already dispatched according to Oreki-san's order. But Oreki himself didn't take any action. The silver-haired girl sitting next to her didn't move either. Although they didn't eat together during lunch break, Little Princess Sakayanagi always maintained an elegant expression and looked quite cute. "It's really unique," Princess Sakayanagi said. "I didn't expect you to take the initiative to invite me. I'm a little flattered." An active invitation? In fact, it was nothing, just two people going to have dinner together. Moreover, Oreki-san noticed that he was given gifts by Sakayanagi and Kuruzawa on his birthday. Among them, Itayanaga's birthday has already passed, and it's too early to prepare now, but Kuruzawa's birthday is in this month. Therefore, it is just a good idea to appease Sakayanaga's emotions and borrow his taste. Oreki went to her to learn chess during the holidays and could see many of her private servers. All cute. And the outfit is also very tasteful. In other words, the girl is full of flavor. And doing so would not only appease her, but also solve the problem of returning the birthday gift to Kuruzawa. Very energy efficient. And under such circumstances, bringing Kamuro-san would be a bit of a hindrance. So Oreki-san sent a message to Kamuro-san. Let her eat her own dinner, but come and pick up Banliu at 7 o'clock. The divine room. Speechless. Because after Oreki Houtarou sent her a message, he also transferred 5,000 personal points. What does this mean? Is it feeding? Also, Banliu also sent her a message. Let her help take Oreki-san's cat for a walk today or do other things. Who should she listen to? It would be better to say that both of them thought she was a light bulb. And the other side. The classroom of Class D, first grade. During the morning class meeting, Teacher Chibashira announced the special exam for this month and also told everyone that they could take the exam as a final exam. Because the exam next month is just a written exam with a 50-point class evaluation score. It may be a relief for other classes, but for the students of Class D who are still poor academics, it is undoubtedly two huge blows. Although after Yamauchi dropped out of school, some poor students finally felt the crisis and hoped to join Yuanji's tutoring school again. But it's a pity that Yuanji-san gave them a chance in the past, but they didn't want it. Moreover, if he agrees when he is asked, doesn't it show that he is cheap? Of course, the noble Yuanji refused them all. In this way, time returns here. Let's first solve this month's special exam, the Command Tower exam, which can also be called the battle for the top of each class. Tomorrow, the command towers of the 4 classes will go to the special classroom to draw lots to choose the competing classes, but no one wants to be the commander tower. Everyone had different opinions, so it was finally decided to hold the discussion in the afternoon after school. However, when the subject teacher had just left, a student decided to leave without authorization. Hirata-kun. Next is the discussion meeting we are going to have about this special exam. Are you sure you want to leave? There are actually many people in this class who still pay attention to Hirata, but in the past 2 weeks, the students have also lost patience with the collapsed Hirata. Therefore, Hirata basically doesn't talk much, and Hirata also lives like a zombie in the classroom. During the lunch break, Wang Miu still persisted in trying to persuade Hirata, but was publicly executed, and Kushida was scolded when he tried to talk to her. So everyone is scared. And the only person who can still talk to Hirata now is that person. Horikita Suzune. After teacher Chibashira announced the exam rules, she did not act immediately. Instead, she thought that everyone had their own ideas. If it was just a class meeting discussion, there would not be enough time, so she hoped to stay after school in the afternoon for discussion. This is a relatively qualified plan. If it is another class, you can quickly select the command tower, and then let the command tower make overall arrangements. But this is Class D. A class that was almost abandoned by the school. And the key central figure Hirata has also been broken for a while, so Class D is not safe. Then it will take more time. Or rather, some students still don't fully understand the rules of the exam. So it takes time for them to understand. All in all, this is a tricky class. And now? Not interested, Hirata said. Then he passed by Horikita and walked out of the classroom. Everyone saw Hirata's attitude, felt a little regretful, and then helpless. Knowing that Hirata would be of no use in this exam. But isn't this okay to do? Kushida-san was sitting in the front row, and she was clearly aware of the atmosphere. During the last class vote to drop out of the exam, Horikita Suzun made a killing and gained popularity. She and Hirata both became each other's stepping stones. Now, Hirata's departure is certain. But by naming her in public, wouldn't it further confirm her status? Not only that. She walked directly to the podium. In other words, Horikita directly gained control of Class D. Oreki said that he hoped that Horikita Suzun could grow by mastering Class D. Now, it seems to be going well. But this kind of thing. It makes me uncomfortable just thinking about it. Kushida-san decided to make some trouble. Anyway, Oreki had already said that he would not pursue her. And she doesn't want to see Horikita grow up. In this way, Horikita drew 3 areas on the blackboard. Learning, alternative, sports competition. Teacher Chibashira said in the morning that 5 projects were finally submitted to the school the day before the competition, but 10 projects need to be prepared in the current 2 days. In other words, only 5 of these 10 were ultimately genuine, while the other 5 were used to confuse enemy classes. 10 projects were announced, which both classes knew about each other. You can then train accordingly to achieve good results on race day. However, this method is also very tiring. First of all, my class also sent out 10 smoke bombs to confuse the other party, but 5 items were real, so these 5 items need to be trained hard, and then you have to practice the 10 items announced by the other party, that is, 15 items need to be performed project practice. This is really terrible. What's even more terrible is that maybe my class has been training for a long time, but on the day of the exam, among the 5 items reported by both classes, it is 5 add 5. Then 7 items will be taken out from them for the test. If you are very unlucky, your class will 2 projects were drawn. So, isn't this super disgusting? This exam is not easy. It depends on the madness of the other class and the hard work of your own class. Only. By the way, don't we need to confirm the identity of the commander first? Then, a girl suddenly said, interrupting Horikita-san who was writing on the blackboard. Can't we discuss some exam items and the like tomorrow? This girl has an ordinary appearance. It's someone from Kushida's side. She entrusted the other party to deliberately make things difficult for Horikita. The location of the command tower. Horikita Suzun turned around and said. Isn't there only one candidate? It's Ayanokaji Kiyotaka-san. He has the reward of protection, so even if we fail the exam, only he can be safe, Horikita said. In other words, she actually decided on the command tower from the beginning. Then, everyone looked at Ayanokaji-san. Ayanokaji-san stood up. I am willing to accept the position of command tower. If you become a commander and then fail the exam, you will be kicked out of school. But the other students were fine. This was a punishment only for the commander. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 437. So having someone as the command tower is indeed reassuring. Everyone is exempt. After all, it seems that Yamauchi's withdrawal from school is just around the corner. Dropout, dropout, dropout will become a word that appears frequently in this class. This is terrible. Actually, Horikita-san can also be used as a command tower. However, someone also put forward a new suggestion. This is Kushida Platycodon. She smiled like she was everyone's friend. Although Ayanokaji-san has protection, Horikita-san is also very smart, so it can also be used as a commander. Then our class can keep a lot of points. Otherwise, if the current points are lost, life will probably become very sad. Is life difficult? Yes. The students in the class probably understood. This time the test is a class confrontation, and the winning side will get extra points from the school. The failed party has no subsidies from the school. Not only that, the exam is divided into 7 items, and all 7 items must be completed. In each event, the winning team takes away 30 class evaluation points from the losing team. In other words, if they lose all 7 games, students in Class D will lose 210 class evaluation points. And the current score. Class A, first grade, scored 2,628.5 points. First grade Class B 1,451.5 points. Grade 1 Class C, 598 points. Class D, first grade, 582 points. Among the class evaluation scores of Class D, only 58 points belong to ordinary students. If 210 points are deducted, it will definitely be counted towards everyone's 58 points. And if too much is deducted and Horikita-san and Takaharaji-san resist, will the 400,000 points supported by Class B every month also be taken away by them as compensation? In other words, will everyone have nothing to eat next month? And this is a situation where everyone's strength is not enough, and the command tower also fails. But the command tower serves as a commander and can intervene in every exam. In other words, it can also serve as a coordinator and rescuer. As for Ayanokaji-san, not many people know her, and her presence is not very high. She had received 133 excessive appreciation votes inexplicably before, which frightened everyone. Then the other party gained the title of Protect. Although if you fail the exam, the other person will not be expelled, but there is no way to intervene and help everyone during the exam, so everyone's points may be lost a lot. So, no matter how you look at it, Horikita-san is much more reliable. In fact, there was another person to choose from the beginning, Hirata-san. But Hirata-san, everyone has seen it and can't count on it. So, now that Kushida made the suggestion, everyone's eyes moved over. Horikita said nothing. There seems to be more than one unstable element in the class. If Yamauchi was considered particularly stupid in the past, then the unstable classmates now are Yasuke Hirata and Kushida-san in front of him. There is no doubt that her White Lotus is still hostile to Horikita. So how will Horikita react? Or is this a test for her? The tasks given to her by Oreki-san require her to grow. She needs to show that she can survive in this school independently before her brother graduates. So how can growth be reflected? At least you have to be able to face all kinds of situations without panicking. No, maybe it's not enough, maybe it needs to be solved immediately. Otherwise, it would be impossible to respond to Oreki-san's expectations. In this way, Horikita Suzun's hand holding the chalk suddenly stopped at the podium. She pursed her lips. Then he gently stroked the ends of his long hair with his left hand. Chapter 184 Why are you fighting? Horikita knew that what Kushida was saying now was aimed at her. Not for the class. Rather say. Perhaps Kushida didn't think too much into proposing that she become the commander, and simply wanted to cause trouble for her, but her move was actually quite effective. Because Kushida's current proposal is not really to let her lose the command tower, but to let everyone pay more attention to her. But Horikita understands that he has to bear a greater responsibility than it seems for no reason. Generally speaking, the command tower is the commander of a class, and the command towers of other classes are probably the protection winners of the last class vote to withdraw from school. Just like what was announced on the bulletin board before. List of persons granted protection. Luyuki, a member of 1st grade Class A. Hanami Ichinos, 1st grade Class B. Long Yuanxiang, Class C, 1st grade. Then Kiyotaka Ayanakaji, Class D, First grade. The protection of the other three classes are all class representatives. Once they become the command tower, they can effectively participate and provide assistance to the project. Therefore, the command tower still has its role. As for Class D, even if no one likes to hear it, it is basically a bad hand. So the probability of losing is very high. So, Kushida said this because she wanted to place most of the responsibility for the class's failure on her. Because she proposed that Ayanokaji become the commander instead of herself. If Horikita-san becomes the commander, then the class may not lose, or something like that. Some people may think so. From this perspective, Kushida-san doesn't like her even now. Still thinking about holding her back. But Horikita will not lose here. She performed very poorly in the previous rumor incident. According to Oreki-san, she can rely on him, but this time she needs to move forward on her own. My brother will graduate soon, and only Oreki-san will be around. Will she let Oreki-san down again? Horikita held his right hand with his left hand, seemingly gaining courage. She looked straight at Kushida Kikyo, who was standing up. Then he spoke slowly. I'm really looking forward to being able to be the command tower and giving commands to everyone, but I'm a pretty bad person. I'm very sorry. In fact, I can't even remember the names of most of the students yet. So I can't deal with everyone's specialties or how to guide and distribute them. Kushida-san, you not only have excellent grades, but also have a good relationship with everyone. You know everyone's strengths or weaknesses very well, so you are the commander of the position. You are the perfect person to take on this role. This is beautifully said. The classmates in the class quickly focused their attention on Kushida. But Horikita-san didn't stop. She continued, and Kushida-san, you probably also hope that you can give yourself a chance to make up for your wrong move in the last dropout exam, so I don't think this position should be taken away from you. This position that belongs to Kushida should not be taken away. In other words, do you want to propose Kushida to become the commander? Then he will bring out the dark history of the last class vote to expand the group and whip him again. Day. Kushida's classmate's face froze. She already had some regrets. This is definitely not something that ordinary Horikita-san can say, because she should not and cannot be so smooth. Moreover, it also brings out the side of Kushida that lowered his evaluation during the exit exam, which is simply heartless. And he put her on the stove to roast. Kushida-san immediately returned to her seat with a slightly embarrassed but not rude smile. If she becomes the command tower without protection points, what is the difference between automatically dropping out of school? Rather, probably no one in the class believes that Class D can win this exam. Therefore, becoming a commander will definitely result in the punishment of dropping out of school. Kushida-san seemed to be a little timid. But Horikita-san didn't let her go. However, Kushida-san, you probably don't need to worry about commander being expelled from school. Horikita Suzun said in a serious tone, Commander Tower needs to pay 20 million to eliminate the punishment for dropping out. But the class is so united. As long as everyone pays 520,000, we can still save you, Kushida. Don't worry, you 52. If anything, I'm willing to pay. Are you willing to pay? Damn it. I owe so many people in my class money for nothing. Even if you are a little angel, talking about money will hurt your feelings, right? Kushida regretted it for a moment. He just regretted how this Horikita Suzun grew up like this. Is there no process? Ha ha ha, in short, I still think it would be better for Ayanokaji-san to be the commander considering his unfavorable situation. Kushida finally gave up on making trouble. Generally speaking, the first shot will kill the bird. Although Kushida-san didn't want to admit it, he was also beaten up. As a result, the atmosphere in the class, which had become chaotic without Hirata as a glue, now became clearer. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 438. At least Kushida didn't dare to interfere anymore. At the same time. That's what Horikita-san said. Ayanokaji-san was chosen to be the commander on the one hand because the other party has the title of protection. On the other hand. She paused and said. For this exam, the teacher also said that we can use our intelligence, talent, and even luck. The exam items are decided by the students in the warring classes. Then our class can also come up with projects that we are good at. The overall quality of our class is weaker than other classes, but there are also some students who are better than other classes in various aspects. So if the right person is selected from the beginning, then there will be no need for the intervention ability of the command tower to save the situation. For example, Kojinji-kun, Horikita Suzun said. I think he is excellent in many aspects, and there are very few people in this school who can beat him in the projects he is good at. After she said this, everyone's attention shifted again. It fell on the golden retriever sitting in the middle of the classroom who took out a comb to comb his hair from time to time. Koenjiro Kusuke. Ever since he entered school, he has been very self-centered. He even thinks he is the most beautiful. At the same time, he is maverick and a loner. But he's also very strong. All classmates know that Gao Yuanji is very strong in all aspects. He is among the best in written examinations and has the best athletic ability. Although he is proud of him, he also provides cram schools for the class. And now? Will he play for the class? Rather, now I really have to fight for the class. Kojinji also has a class evaluation score of 200 points in Class D. In other words, a total of 39 × 200 × 100 equals 780,000 private points can be taken from the class every month. And he himself has actually collected millions simply by relying on the points from his class. If there are no accidents and it lasts until graduation, it is possible to get 20 million transfer points from this class. Of course, I have no confidence in this broken class, but if someone is really willing to take over the integration and protect his share of the class evaluation scores, he will agree. Rather say, Horikita and him are actually the same. Behind Horikita stands Oreki Houtarou. They have no habit of losing money in this camp. But flying with Class D all the time is disgusting. So it must be thrown away after use. But he was a little surprised. Because girl Horikita was asking the whole class to put pressure on him, or in other words, it was impossible to refuse under such circumstances. Because those students in the class also wanted to default on the previous incident involving Horikita rumors. And now Hirata is in ruins, and the person who collects the money suddenly has a problem, and if he voluntarily drops out of school or something, then it will be difficult for him to collect the money. So, I really can't refuse now. It's interesting that you can actually use the situation to manipulate people, Horikita girl. In this way. Okay, he put away his hairbrush. I will take the exam this time, and my competition will not be lost to others. No matter what project you propose, I can guarantee that I will not lose to others, Yuanji said. This was quite a loud tone, but many people in the class actually felt reassured. I'm coming too. In this case, Suyoda-ken raised his right hand and said, I will not lose in the sprint event. Although he admits that he is not as good as the student council president, not as good as Oreki Houtarou, and not as good as Koenji. However, as long as he doesn't face these people and faces other ordinary athletes, he will not lose. Then it's up to you. Horikita Suzun said. As long as it's an individual match between these two people, and it's a sports match, it's basically a free win. In this way, Class D's preparation for the command tower exam has begun to become more orderly. The overall equipment of Class D is worse than other classes, but there are many problem children. Hey! What are you doing? However, Yukimura, the top student who was sitting by the window and was listening and thinking seriously, suddenly spoke. He stuck his head out the window as if he was very angry. At this time, the students by the window also poked their heads out, and then discovered Hashimoto from class A in the corridor, close to the wall of their classroom. After being told this, Hashimoto left quickly. "Isn't that a student from class A?" Someone expressed doubts. But some people understand what this is doing. People from class A want to come and get information. And they actually forgot to close the door during the discussion. I don't know how much information has been leaked now. To know. This is the exam rule that was only announced in the morning. Even the command tower will not go to draw lots for the class showdown tomorrow, but the people from class A have already been dispatched. Could it be that Oreki-san from class A is going to target them this time? The students in class D are very familiar with Oreki-san from class A. He came to their class to sell materials on the first day. And now, there is a huge distance between me and class D, which makes people feel inferior. Result. Do they actually want to choose them as their opponents in this exam? This kind of thing. The mood in the class seemed to be getting a little tense. Only Horikita Susan breathed a sigh of relief. Because she knew that Oreki-san probably arranged for someone to get the information and confirm whether there was any growth on her side. So it's done well. Oreki was happy for Horikita-san in his heart. He has already received the situation of Class D reported by Hashimoto. Naturally, Hui gave the report earlier. When it comes to work, Kuruzawa will not lose to anyone. But Horikita is a kind of honest and fair person, so he has no idea that Class D has become a nest of spies. So he could only arrange for Hashimoto to explore the information, and then deliberately expose himself to make it look like he was paying attention to her situation. Then he also used this as an excuse to go see her. The information obtained shows that Horikita-san is pretty good. Megami also asked him if he had taught Horikita any plans. But no. These were all improvised by herself. Rather, this is what Horikita Susan looked like after removing the elements of Horikita's brother. But this also shows that Horikita-san's biggest weakness is clearly exposed. She is the kind of person who is only suitable for chasing others. In the past, she had been chasing after her brother, trying to gain his approval. In the rumor incident, Oreki-san used a clever substitution to change her from chasing her outstanding brother to relying on him. So, now he hopes that she can grow up and be put to use, and she will work hard to respond to your expectations. A little bit exciting. Like being strongly pursued, of course Horikita may not understand this emotion. However, Oreki-san felt that even if it was his birthday and Horikita-san just wanted to sleep, he could still be tolerant and prepare a birthday gift for her. And thinking about it? It seems that you are very busy. There was a cute girl's voice beside Oreki. It's the silver-haired little princess Banliu. It's not a big deal, Oreki-san said, then put the phone away. Horikita has already grown a bit, so there's no need to pay attention. But these words made Sakayanaga's eyes pay attention. Oh. Is it? Because Sakayanagi was standing next to Oreki-san, he knew that he was looking at his phone, and on the phone he was reporting the situation of Horikita Susan from Class D's internal line. And now does this mean that Horikita Susan is not important? Sakayanagi still liked hearing this sentence. Speak of it. And she got down to business. Are you still missing the numbers now? Sakayanagi asked. Why do you ask? Oreki looked over immediately. Because didn't Sakayanagi read his points in the morning? With more than 100 million points there is absolutely no trace of what is missing. And Banliu wrote. Among the class evaluation scores of Class D, 520 points do not belong to ordinary Class D students. For example, Susan Horikita alone has 320 points. Even though she is the sister of the student council president. However, I don't think Horikita-san alone can monopolize so many points. So you must be behind it, Sakayanagi said. It seemed like analysis, but Oreki already understood what she was talking about. This means that if he directly wins Class D, then there will be no problem even if his share of the class evaluation points is lost, right? That is to say. Oreki. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 439. -0 Oh. That's it? In other words, do you want to declare war on Horikita Suzune? So why are they fighting? Chapter 185 Senior Nanyun's Assistants. Then use the waist. One side might be a future girlfriend, and the other side is a future wife. Are you going to start a fight now? Oreki-san knows that he is not good at dealing with relationships between girls. However, it is a bit too fast to kick off the smell of gunpowder so early. Then, after thinking about it, Oreki-san decided to take action. Generally speaking, if you want to help, you will always help the weaker party. Then, Oreki-san contacted the weaker party at night. This is the first time you have come to my dormitory. So, would you like coffee or tea? Oreki-san said. Then he looked at the tall, imposing and super beautiful top girl. Suzune Horikita from Class D, first grade. Although his intelligence is not low, he does not have a clear grasp of human relations and worldliness, and sometimes he even does things that are incomprehensible. But it is undeniable that Horikita-san is really good looking just by looking at her. It's just that Oreki-san didn't invite her to his room today for this kind of thing. These are not really needed, Horikita said. Then, she seemed a little eager to give it a try. It makes people feel like they have completed their homework seriously and then hope that the teacher will correct and praise them. Do you want me to hear your plans for this exam? Oreki-san said. If it were purely based on class confrontation, then with Horikita Suzune having control over Class D's exam, Class A would definitely win. However, it is a pity that Oreki-san is not here for the class. Rather, unless there are abnormalities or violations in this exam, the score will not be too high. In this way, this time's exam is just a normal exam, but it can also be used to make use of it. And then here it is. It can be a trial for Horikita-san. Then let Horikita and I leave the school with peace of mind. And Horikita Suzune revealed her plan for this exam. I collected all kinds of data about the students in the class. Then we decided to draw on their strengths before formulating the projects for the competition. If that's the case, I suggest you contact Kushida again. She knows most of her classmates well. So maybe we can give some new information, Oreki said. Kushida's words. However, when Kushida-san Horikita-san was mentioned to be good-looking, his brows furrowed. I ordered her to target you today, Oreki said. On the one hand, even if she has to help you on the surface, she will not be willing to do so. But after such a festival, she has to work hard. I see. Horikita understood. That's why Kushida took the initiative to propose that I become the commander at that time. Generally speaking, the plan chosen by Horikita is quite satisfactory. But Class D is indeed confident. Although the overall quality of the hardware is very poor, there are many problem children in Class D. And these problem children are the ones who are terrible in some aspects, but have some advantages in other aspects and are not even inferior to Class A. For example, Houtarou's athletic ability would be outstanding even in Class A. And like Yuanji, that one is a monster. So, this is what Mr. Majima said. This exam needs to bring together your talents, potential, and even luck. In other words, there are still things that need to be considered for Class A. Being good enough is a good thing, and being proud of being a student in Class A is also a good thing, But, if you are too proud and ignore all your opponents, you will easily capsize in the gutter. That's why Sakayanagi chose Class D. This is a practice for students in Class A. Let them not be too proud. Let's just treat it like this. Oreki-san thought in a business-like mind. So I asked about the serious matter of inviting Horikita here. Then, the next step is also a crucial step. Have you considered which class your class will face? Would you feel timid if you faced Class A? Oreki asked. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we will go from the command tower to the special classroom to draw lots, and then select the class to fight. Once a class is selected, the 10 declared projects need to be announced within 3 days. Finally, on the day of the exam, each class selected 5 out of 10 projects, and the projects for the final 7-round exam were born from these 5 add 5. And Horikita Susan thought for a while. We're not sure yet which class we're going to face off against. If it's Ichino's and the others from Class B, their class is very strong both academically and athletically, so maybe we can use alternative events to win against them, such as playing cards. Some type of. As for Class C Ryuan, their class's academic ability is about the same as ours, but in terms of sports, they are still stronger overall. At the same time, Ryuan is more evil, and he has regained protection, so maybe he is also the commander of Class C. Then you have to consider being plotted by him. And if I'm dealing with you, Class A, I won't recommend academic projects. Horikita Susan made a great analysis. There is no problem with the analysis either. But then get ready, Oreki-san said. I specially invited you here today just to tell you. Sakayanagi has decided to declare war on your class, Oreki said. Class A declared war on Class D? So wouldn't it be a disaster for Class D? Watching Horikita-san's expression instantly turned blank. No. Probably Sakayanagi was jealous and wanted to attack him. Oreki-san thought to himself. So he was the one who really suffered the disaster. Kushida didn't let him grow up, and freshman Ichino's didn't let him grow up. As a result, the baby Tyrannosaurus wanted him to grow up. So, the time came for the next day. 10 o'clock in the morning. It seems I have to leave first, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. The homeroom teacher, Mr. Mashima, had already walked to the door. Everyone in the class knew that Sakayanagi was going to the special classroom to draw lots for the command tower. Then select the class you want to play against. The time now is recess time, so the students in the class can move around freely. And Katsuragi-san walked towards Oreki-san. Although he was also sorry that Yahiko dropped out of school, he could also accept Oreki's solution. Although Yahiko left, Yahiko's academic ability is not bad, so even if he leaves a Kyosei high school, he can still continue to take exams for further studies. At the same time, he also left the accumulated points with him, and each of the classmates also paid 10,000 points to Yahiko, so everyone has achieved humanitarianism. And if you insist on protecting Yahiko blindly, I'm afraid the class will become divided because of this. Therefore, it was the best plan for Yahiko to choose to drop out of school. Otherwise, he will become someone who cannot protect his followers. Probably because of this, his followers decreased by 2 people. However, as long as the status of Class A can be maintained in the end and everyone will eventually graduate as a student of Class A, he can actually accept it. It's just Sakayanaga's side. Katsuragi felt unable to relax. If Oreki-san was the commander, he would be confident, but Sakayanagi was too aggressive. Which class do you think Sakayanagi will declare war on? Katsuragi asked. No matter what class we face, our class will never lose, right? Oreki-san said. And I think Sakayanagi knows it well. For it. Katsuragi got stuck. 2. After all, we are all students in Class A. The pride of having Class A. No matter what class you face, you should be confident. And soon, Oreki-san received a photo. It was sent by Yuzusaka Yanagi. It was a special classroom. The classroom door is open, and you can already see the original appearance when you stand at the door. There are large LED screens on the front and rear walls of the classroom. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 440. In the middle of the classroom there are 4 independent tables facing 2 directions. There is a computer on the table. Each computer comes with a headset and external keyboard. There is a lottery box on one of the tables. It seems that they are waiting for the commander tower of each class to come and draw lots to decide the fighting class. Although the layout is simple, it is almost certain that the subsequent exams will be live broadcast. In the command tower, you can watch the live broadcast in the special classroom and then make real-time contact. The way to issue instructions is probably through dialogue or typing instructions on an external keyboard. Of course, in some projects, perhaps the command tower can also participate directly. But for the commander of Class A, she can only come up with strategic plans and let her participate in sports events in person, which is basically impossible. Therefore, Class A also has shortcomings. And this is what Oreki-san wants to work hard on. Did he? And soon, Oreki-san received another message from Saka Yanagi. And this time it was still a photo. It's a selfie of Itaiji and Hanami Ichinose. The two stood together. Archangel Ichinose and Saka Yanagi seemed to be friends, and both were recipients of protection, so there was no problem in meeting at this time. However, this made Oreki-san feel stressed. Does this mean that in addition to targeting Horikita-san, Saka Yanagi-san also wants to target Archangel Ichinose? In fact, she doesn't have to do such a thing. So he turned and looked at the girl with long purple hair in the back seat of Saka Yanagi. Kamuro-kun, Oreki said. Kamuro Maesumi, who was memorizing a vocabulary list, looked over. There is something I need you to complete soon, Oreki-san said. Oh. The specific request has been sent to your mobile phone, Oreki said. If you have any orders, you can't tell her directly. You still need to send a message face to face. Think so? Kamuro Maesumi clicked on her phone. Before the command tower exam ends, you must do whatever it takes to get a set. So, what are you two thinking? Saka Yanagi asked her to buy out family planning supplies, but you asked her to buy family planning supplies. About 10 minutes later, classmate Saka Yanagi came back, and she brought back news. This time in the command tower exam, first grade class A faced off against first grade class D. First grade class B versus first grade class C. Then everyone is required to report on the projects they are good at. Of course the students in class A will cooperate with this. In this way, the 10 entries were quickly listed. Chess, mental arithmetic, Go, modern literature test, social science test, mathematics test, English test, volleyball, dodgeball, and skipping. Among the 10 projects, it almost doesn't take much thinking to understand that this is in line with the style of Class A. Class A's hardware is excellent, so high academic ability is an advantage. So are there any problems with launching various projects related to written examinations? Of course there is a problem. Only 5 of them will be used as formal assessment items. So there are still 5 that are just fake. Of course, Saka Yanagi is also very direct. Because we are facing students from Class D, it is okay to be a little cautious. So, things like volleyball, dodgeball, rope skipping, etc. are so explicit that you wouldn't even be interested in them. Only. I got a message. During the lunch break, Saka Yanagi Yuzu suddenly said this. And Oreki-san also saw it. What Banliu received was a photo. It was a photo of Ichinose Hanami waiting for him to say hello on the first floor of the dormitory when the class voted to drop out of school some time ago. You can see Ichinose and Oreki-san in the photo. In other words, The Archangel Ichi-nose was deceived again. As expected, Nagamo-senpai has not changed at all. Previously, he deliberately misappropriated the class points to pay Ichi-nose's mental damages first, and the purpose was also to ask Ichi-nose to pursue Oreki-san. This action seems strange. But if you look at it now, it's very clear. Nagamo is driving a wedge between Sakayanagi and Oreki. The tool used is Ichi-nose-san, hoping that Ichi-nose will insert himself between the two and destroy the relationship between Oreki-san and Itaiji. But Nagamo may have thought wrong. The relationship between Oreki-san and Sakayanagi is better than he understood. Both men's mobile phones were exchanged with each other. So this kind of sudden message will definitely be told to another person. So this plan of alienation has now been discovered. But this is also very dangerous. Because this shows that Sakayanagi-san showed him that she has no secrets, so what else of equal value does he want to give her? Oreki-san knows what Sakayanagi-san wants. Senior Nagamo's message was also sent quickly. After initially posting a photo of Oreki and Ichi-nose meeting, Nagamo directly extended an invitation. I hope to meet Banliu, and I am willing to provide second-year students to provide training for the first-year classes students in various exams. In other words, Nanyun wanted to get involved in the first grade exam. And for this case, Nagamo probably wants to decide his future path. Oreki-san analyzed. Will you decide your future path? Yes. Apart from the special exams, there is another major event this month. Student Council President Horikita Akira will resign. At that time, the election of the new Student Council President will be held. Yuchin High School is student-led, and the student union has great authority. So the stakes are high. And this is why for this special examination, the rules were announced on the 1st, the battle class was selected on the 2nd, the 10 open events were announced on the 5th, and the duel was held on the 21st. The purpose is to make time and space for the resignation of the student president and the election of the next student president. The student council president has excessive authority to choose the score value of each special examination. So, this is the most important thing for Class A. With the authority of the student council president, even if it is not illegal but just fair, it can effectively maintain the position of Class A. But, does the election of the next student council president have anything to do with Nagamo? It has nothing to do with Nagamo. Vice President Kiryu has not been fired or demoted yet, which means that Horikita Academy will still give Kiryu a chance. And Kiriyama is a second grader, so naturally he is from Nagamo. So, does Nagamo still need to show favor to the first grader now? The last forest exam was undoubtedly a defeat for Nanyun, and his popularity dropped again. So if Vice President Kiriyama, whom he relies on, can become a regular member under various operations, he will not resign immediately to choose him as the next student council president. So instead, we started making early bets by choosing the next student council president. Only. Why does Nagamo think that Sakayanagi will run for the next student council president? You know, she is not even a member of the student union now. The person who really has the dominant authority looks more like him. After all, he has a close relationship with the student council president's sister, Horikita Suzune. You can get tickets for Class D of the first grade and Class A of the third grade near the water tower. And when I think about it, beep. Oreki-san received a message. It's Nagayunya's number. And the other party sent a text message. I gave up on Ichino-senpai and paid her points in advance. She is now working hard to pursue you by Nanyunya. Oreki. Alright. Never mind. Naun is betting on all three sides. P.S. It's the beginning of the month, please give me free blades. Ying ying ying. Chapter 186. Some students in Class D are also struggling. This seems good, but it's of no use. The command towers of the four classes completed the lottery process. And as thought before, the commanders of the 4 classes were all the people who received the most appreciation votes in the last additional class voting withdrawal exam, and then received the title of Protect. Yuzusaka Yanagi, Class A, 1st grade. Hanamai Ichinos, 1st grade Class B. Long Yuanxiang, Class C, 1st grade. Ayanokaji, Class D, 1st grade. On the 3rd day, Horikita Susan finally drew up 10 entries for Class D. Basketball, swimming, English close, abacus mental arithmetic, 200-meter race, typing competition, math test, archery competition, chess, and guessing. In this way. On the 5th, Class A and Class D announced the 10 events proposed by their classes on the bulletin board.